We'll start off with five-star wide receiver Jaime Ffrench from Mandarin High School, recently decommitted from Alabama after the retirement of Nick Saban. After this visit, have put in an RPM pick for Florida State to land Jaime Ffrench. I want to clarify that this isn't one of those RPM picks where I think it's going to happen like tomorrow or within the next week or soon. This is more of a long-haul pick to where I just think at the end of this, he will end up at FSU just because of how he feels when he's there. It just seems like it's different than anywhere else. From talking to Trammell earlier in the week to talking to Jaime today, everything kind of lined up saying it's just hard to say no to this program. He's got so many connections inside. He's got friends. Obviously, he has Trammell committed as well. I just think in general, it's such a strong bond, and that kind of showed when we talked to him after the visit today. He even said Florida State was his number one school when asked. He did say when it was just ranked, he said top three. We kind of got it out of him that Florida State was his number one right now. But out of those top three, he obviously said Florida State. He said Ohio State. It used to be Florida State, Ohio State, and Alabama. We don't know if Alabama is still the third in that top three currently. After that, there's another five-star in linebacker. Yes, linebacker. Everyone here wants a linebacker. Five-star linebacker Zaden Walker was on campus. This visit actually tied Georgia in his recruitment for the most visits so far. He has been here a lot. I didn't really realize that, and so I looked at it after his visit. But it was also because he was visiting with his brother a good amount as well. What really stood out here is Randy Shannon. He loves Randy. Him and Randy have a great relationship, a great bond. He really loves Randy's scheme. They went through it today in meetings and that kind of stuff. And Randy told Zayden that he wanted to use him as a very versatile piece and more versatile than he's used now currently in high school. And Zayden said he really loved that. He said it always gets better every single time he's there, and it's always great. And he wants to keep coming to Florida State. He'll probably come again in the spring to watch a practice. The schools in that he narrowed it down. He hadn't put a top 10 or top 5 or whatever out there at this point, at least to my knowledge. And he told us it had been narrowed down to Georgia, Florida State, and Miami in no particular order. When we asked him the order, he actually just said 1, 1, 1. So there is no real leader there, but Florida State is in the top 3. After that, we got an interesting one in Jaylen Wiggins, defensive lineman from Tallahassee, a local kid who he actually committed to Florida earlier this week. And his first visit after the commitment was to Florida State. This one was kind of a weird vibe, but we asked him what being in Tallahassee meant, or if he would even like to stay that close to home. And from his answer, it didn't seem like he really wanted to. Florida State is definitely still in the picture, and he still holds them highly, but it doesn't seem like he really wants to stay that close to home. It seems like he wants to branch out for school, which I get, but also with him being committed to Florida, you didn't get that vibe either. It seemed like his recruitment was still wide open. He was talking about taking visits to UCF and Miami next week and a possible visit to Stanford down the road. He does really want to go there. He doesn't know how he's going to get there, but he does really want to go check that place out. Again, it was just strange. I don't say Florida State has a leg up here at all. I just think the recruitment is still wide open. After that, we got Byron Lewis, running back out of American Heritage High School, where Pat Surtain used to coach. I believe he was his coach for maybe his freshman year or something a while ago. They are still very close, very tight. He said it's the same Pat that he had as a coach in high school years ago, and that he's the same guy, and he's always going to give it to you straight, and he's always going to be there for you and just connect with you easily. But he also, it seems like his relationship with Coach Yak is really coming along, and they are really close. This visit actually wasn't set up until fairly recently this week, so he didn't even know he was coming. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that a lot of American Heritage or former American Heritage players have been flocking to Florida State due to Pat Surtain. Like you have Marvin Jones Jr., you have Earl Little. You have a lot of American Heritage players starting to come to Florida State due to that Pat Surtain connection. And this is another one. That's what drew him in. This one's still pretty wide open, but Florida State is a top contender, he said. He's still got schools like Alabama, Ohio State, Miami, and Florida in it for him. Next is a 4-star wide receiver, C.J. Wiley. He was last on campus for the Seminoles for the Miami game, but he told me he's really considering coming to FSU. He wants to get back for a practice later in the spring, so here in March, April. He also got to talk with Dugans about his fit on the team, and Dugans told him he wants to use him on the outside because of his speed And Dugans also told him he really likes what he sees on film so far. So this is someone I think Florida State is really in a really good spot with. I think he really liked it from talking to his dad and his family outside of Moore this past weekend. Great family, great kid. Someone that I think would be a great addition to Florida State, who's not really I think we kind of overlooked and didn't really see him a whole lot up until this visit. And this is someone we definitely need to watch and keep a closer eye on. After that, to wrap it up for this of who we talked to, we got Tavion Wallace, another linebacker, 4-star linebacker. This might be the class for Randy Shannon, guys, for linebackers. Wallace wrapped things up. He was one of the last people to leave. He just liked that he talked more in depth with FSU today and the way they run their playbook. What really stood out to him was the unique family feel of FSU, and that remains a big factor for him as well. There were a few people we didn't get to talk to, and we are still working on that, like Zion Grady. Greg Zay Thomas is staying overnight in Tallahassee, and we will work to get up with him. And Myron Charles, defensive lineman, 4-star. We are looking to get in contact with those guys and get more stories and more updates out for you. So just stay tuned to the PRB for all those. But yeah, that's it. There's another junior day next weekend and the weekend after that.